Man, I can't be the only one who feels like with the way episode 12 ended, no preview, they had the credits playing with the little kind of montage making it feel like an ending, that, man, this felt like the ending of the season. But ever since the start of this season, we've known that the confirmation was 13 episodes. So I'm curious to see like what they're gonna do, because even though we know we're getting season 3, which is just another core of S.H.I.E.L.D. Hero, so basically when they announce seasons 2 and 3, it's just, hey, you're gonna get another probably 25 episodes. So I guess they could maybe prep for the next wave, drop a cliffhanger, make us eager to see season 3, maybe that's what they're gonna do. Maybe they directed it in the way they did just because, well, it's the ending of the arc that probably we've all enjoyed the most, so maybe that's the reason. But, a part of me, like, the voice in the back of my mind's like, damn, I'm just waiting for the bombshell that this actually was a 12-episode season and next core was the 13 episode or something. But, I guess we'll see what happens. I'm just interested because, really, I come back to that kind of phrase of something walks so another can run. And when you look at episode 11 definitely walked, so episode 12 could goddamn run a marathon. Now, apparently last week was all outsourced to a studio, which does explain the janky animation and just weird quality dip, not only just from storytelling perspective, but like visually. But this episode, a lot more consistent, and you can tell this was the episode that kind of got that attention to detail, given it was going to be the last final hurrah in terms of the big epic battle, dealing with the wave and everything like that. And truthfully, I thought they did a hell of a good job with the Wrath Shield and just everything, like seeing my boy Naofumi lose control to the point that he got a lot of shit out of his system, like the fact that you're just trying to get in the Bow Hero's pants and I'm just sick of this bullshit, I'm sick of everyone, like, even though a lot of it was exaggerated, if not outright lies, a lot of what he said was stuff that he's been bottling up, and I think given the Kyo bullshit, given all the bullshit that he's been dealing with, the man had to let off some steam. And I have to admit, I was surprised by Risha's kind of like resolve there of like, you finally told me what you feel, but don't try to bullshit me. You don't feel that about Raptalia. You don't feel that about Philo. You're a good guy who's dealt with a lot of shit. But I have to say, like, just the overall quality boost was nice. This kind of felt like the quality returning to S.H.I.E.L.D. Hero that you've been waiting for, at least for me, because even as someone who's enjoyed this latest arc much more than the previous one, it still felt like something was missing for me. And I can't really put my finger on what it was, but seeing all the pieces connect in this way, because there's been so many great high points throughout this arc, like the separation, the anxiety, the rage, what's going to happen with Raptalia. Even though I wish it maybe had lasted a bit longer, maybe the anime could have wrote some more original content to pad it out a couple more episodes, I still really enjoyed what they're able to do with the emotion. And to see him taunt, and to see him rub that salt into the wound, saying like, just to see that face, like that's the face I've been waiting to see. I love seeing you just so pissed off. I mean, he's just that villain you want to hate, that villain you want to see dead. And seemingly, they say he is dead. I mean, I imagine so, but at the same time, you never quite know. The Taurus came back a billion times, right? You never quite know what's truly going on there. But I'm glad that they resolved seemingly the issue they were going about it, and they're able to return home to their world. The interesting thing to me was how they established this episode with, the different perspectives of both Kyo as well as Naofumi, and how, they had two very different lives before being teleported into their worlds. Someone like Naofumi was a pretty average guy. He seemed to be a normal person who loved his games, and then was ripped away and thrown into what should have been a normal fantasy, but then obviously we saw what happened in season 1. Where on the flip side, this man was, that shut-in NEET who, he lived in a pigsty. It was just pretty bad to the point of he literally wanted to kill himself. And it's interesting to see the different opinions and how that establishing mentality of where you came from really does go a long way to establish who you become in that second life. And in the case of someone like Naofumi, the big thing that turned him into a very vengeful person was because of how hard he got screwed around after being ripped away from a life he genuinely enjoyed. I thought they did a great job to really establish how similar yet different both of these two were, and it really does establish that initial rage for their final confrontation, or what seemed to be their final confrontation. There's actually quite a few really interesting moments that I wasn't expecting. The homunculus plotline was really good in my opinion. I just love the idea of someone who clearly means so much to a couple of these girls, but like, I guarantee you someone like Naofumi couldn't even name who it is, or, Rough Talia couldn't name who it is. It's just the mindless guy who somehow looks even worse than he initially did. He just had that arrogant personality, and now he looks like Frankenstein's monster. Just seeing our girl go in. I mean, the whole katana thing is just awesome in my opinion, because it's not one of those super flashy sword plays, right? It's more of like very quick, very swift, sheath your sword, and then just launch one swift attack, and just the bloodshed that she can cause now is pretty damn impressive. And I was actually surprised that when they were coming home anyway after the teleportation, to see that, there's actually a sense of improvement for Naofumi's life. Even if it's temporary, at the very least, he didn't come home to a city destroyed, everything's on fire, the Three Stooges are, they're sitting on their chairs with their legs up in the air. Instead, they generally were useful in the time that he was gone. And Naofumi actually let out probably the first smirk that wasn't like mockery towards them, but more so, thank God I didn't have to clean up your mess. Even if this was just because you're trying to redeem yourselves, thank God I didn't have to save one world and come and save another one. Let me have my goddamn weekend off, sort of a thing. I really love what this episode did because, even though it does feel like that final episode, that final hurrah, I love what it does in general to get us excited for the next core, right? Because whatever happens in episode 13 happens, right? I really don't care. If it's slice of life, if it's an establishing cliffhanger, I really don't care what it does, because this is that exact same excitement that I had ending season 1. That kind of like, holy shit, we just saw such incredible animation, such incredible action, and we finally got the revenge we've been building up, but also feeling like Naofumi's still overcoming, finally getting to see what Us was able to do for Naofumi, saying you don't need to use that shield anymore. Well, what do you mean? Like, how's he going to deal with things? And he was able to overcome it and use something that, was built around like trust and friendship and things like that. Something about love and compassion rather than being hate and rage. And it was completely useful, right? I love this episode in general, and I'd actually go as far to say one of my personal favorite Shield Hero Season 2 episodes. Definitely, like, kind of bouncing around, like, top 3, top 2, maybe even my favorite, I don't know. Because there has been a few that have been really, really good from, just the separation, the bait and switch of thinking Raftali was always going to be there to having her rip away. Like, there's some really good high points this season. I definitely think there's also some low points, but it's one of those things where it could just be because it's the newest episode, because it has my excitement, but just from production, from classic Shield Hero vibes to what it kind of sets in motion for the future, it's hard not to consider it one of, if not the best episodes of this season, but that's just me. I thought the voice actors did a great job. Now, Fumi's kind of like the filter they applied to his voice when he was kind of being consumed by rage, from Risha feeling like she was actually being choked with how she was delivering her vocal performances. There's just a lot of good stuff in this episode, and I was interested because, it really made us feel like we were going to fight a wave, but instead we could just deal with the bastard responsible, and that actually solved what we needed to. So, great episode, amazing episode if you ask me, but thoughts and feelings down below. What do you think, and what do you hope to see, both with, seemingly the last episode that's supposed to come out next week, but still, back in my mind saying we're not going to get it, but I guess we'll see. But also, what do you hope to see now that this arc's been resolved, and what do you hope to maybe see in Season 3? Because I think there's a lot more possibilities now with how seemingly the epilogue of this arc is being handled, but let me know your feelings down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're new around here. Till next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.